I have some new tips and tricks for you GR4 users out there. I'm going to go over how to hold the camera. I'm going to go over how a piece of tape can save it from dying. I'm going to go over need for speed, how you can utilize the speed of this camera. I'm going to talk about saving recipes and my best recipe recommendation and more. So let's get started with that. Number one, if it's ever frozen on you, take the battery out and add 2 pieces of tape to the bottom of the battery. So one and then another one on top. This adds a little bit of thickness, basically, to the bottom of the battery and remedies the freezing issue. Because the freezing issue is basically the battery losing contact. And, if you have no power, camera freezes. But if you add a little bit of thickness there, it solves that issue. There's that. How to hold this camera. I recommend using the wrist strap that they provide in the box, and you attach it to the top right corner right here, and you put your wrist through it, you wrap it once around the ring finger, and then you hold the grip with your pinky at the bottom like this, and the strap on the top. You get this kind of nice balanced way to hold the camera. Plus, it's very secure. It won't fall out of your hand. And also, when you're walking around, you don't have to grip the whole thing in your hand like this. If you have it wrapped once around a finger, you just kind of loosely hold the camera like this and you walk around. This helps with speed in your street photography. Speaking of which, I want to share my user 1 setting with you that I call Need for Speed. Why do I call this Need for Speed? Because I have it set up to have a minimum shutter speed of 1/1000th. So how do you set this up? You go to your menu, you go to ISO. So you scroll all the way up and a little bit further down, ISO settings. And in the ISO settings, you see a minimum shutter speed setting right there. The highest you can set it to is 1000, 1/1000th of a second. It's very fast. Why do I have this? Oh, and also, by the way, look, I have my ISO upper limit increased to 25,600, which this camera actually still captures very, very nice images at. What this does for me, in effect, is it allows the camera to always be fast. So when I'm, walking around, doing my thing, I see something interesting. I want to be able to turn the camera on and take the shot nice and fast like that. But beyond that, I want the action to freeze. So the 1000th helps me freeze the action, and the upper limit helps the 1000 still be good enough for the amount of brightness that I may have in the scene. You're probably not going to reach that. As you can see, we're in 4000 right now. If you're in daytime, you're really not going to reach those upper limits, but it helps keep the freezing of the action active no matter what kind of situation you are in. So that's Need for Speed. Now, how do you save a setup or a recipe or anything like that to U1, U2, or U3. So as you can see, I have Need for Speed, I have GR4 monochrome, and I have an everyday setup with small file size as my U1, U2, and U3. How do you go about setting these up? Well, you start off in your normal mode. If you prefer program mode like I do, you start in program mode. If you prefer aperture priority mode, like a lot of GR users do, you start in aperture priority mode. By the way, the reason I use program mode in the GR4 now more than I used to do with my GR3 is that not only do you get the ability to adjust the aperture on top of what the program is telling the camera to do, you can now also do a shutter speed shift. It will make the aperture automatic again, but you can now do a shutter speed shift right from program mode, which, by the way, this little button resets for you. So you see this little button up here? It will reset any change I've made and it will put me back into program mode. Okay, so let's say you're in the mode that you like, in our case, the program mode, and I want to save our Need for Speed, for example. In that same way I told you, you go to the setting, you go to the ISO, you make the changes you want. I'm not going to do it here because I've already saved it, but regardless of what you have in there, in order to save it, you go to C for custom, you go all the way up, assign user mode dial, and then you choose one of these options and you hit OK. That's all it takes to save a user setting, which will also include the recipe you have on at the moment. What is that? That's your image control. When you go to your adjust menu and you find your image control settings, you can choose what film simulation or image control your shots are going to be in. Especially if you're in JPEG only, then it will be burnt into the file. So in order to customize your recipe, your film recipe, you press the function button once you're on it, and you have all of these different settings for your saturations, hue, high, low key adjustment, contrast with sharpness, toning, shading, clarity, and grain, also available. I have, over the many shots I've taken with this camera, come up with a recipe that you see right here. That is my foolproof, everyday JPEG recipe that I use. This is, to me, the new positive film. It's cinema yellow with saturation +3, hue +1, 0 on high low key adjustment, +3 on contrast, -2 on both the shadow and highlight contrasts, no added sharpness, no toning, or all the way down to 1, as it is for the yellow, in the case of cinema yellow. 2 added for clarity, and grain on with 2 on size and 2 on intensity. So I hope you took that down. This is an excellent everyday recipe, and it just kind of works if you want portraits, if you want landscape. The colors are just gorgeous, and it always works. So if you want one recipe to always go to, I highly recommend this cinema yellow with a little bit of contrast added and a little bit of saturation added with the grain. It's just gorgeous for every day. And again, if you want to save that, you go to Menu, Custom, Assign User Mode Dial, and you assign it to 1, 2, or 3, and you have saved a recipe. Next, I want to talk to you about this new snap distance priority mode, because not a lot of people are using it yet. So what this does is enables you to zone focus and not have to worry about focusing at all. You can tap to focus still and have access to your autofocus feature, which is really nice. So you can take an autofocus shot. But what this does, it gives you a zone of focus. So from just over 1 meter all the way through 5 meters, I'm going to have everything in focus here. And I can use the back dial to adjust the amount of depth of field, which will increase or decrease the range I have in focus, or I can use the front to move that focus, the front dial, to move that focus from 30 centimeters all the way to infinity. Now, the benefit of this is you don't actually have to touch those much of the time at all. You can simply leave it in snap distance priority mode, depth of field 2 at 2 meters. As you can see, pretty much anything from 1 meter all the way to 5 meters is going to be in focus. I don't have to worry about where to focus. I can just take the shot. As you can see, everything is nice and sharp. Everything is in focus because I chose the zone beforehand. This also enables really fast shooting with this camera, but also takes the worry of focusing away from you. You know that you're going to be in focus no matter what. If you want to go all the way with that, I recommend putting it maybe in 1.5 meter and depth of field 3, and everything is in focus. You don't have to worry about focusing at all. anywhere, and you just take your shots and enjoy your life. The one thing I want to talk about also, besides focus on your gifts and keep producing, which is my note here every day, is that your minimum shutter speed and your maximum ISO settings also affect the behavior of snap distance priority mode. So, for example, right now, as you can see, I'm in depth of field. Let's say go to depth of field 2 and 1.5 meters. The camera is choosing f7.1 to increase the range of focus, but it's choosing 1/25th of a second as the shutter speed. It's good enough for stable shot like this, but if I'm in a moving situation or, I want to freeze some action, this might not be good enough. And in this mode, you feel like you don't have control over things, but you actually do. You go to settings, you go up top, back to ISO settings, and if you increase your minimum shutter speed once again, let's say to 400, it will affect the minimum shutter speed that the camera is choosing. Naturally, it will increase your ISO, but as you know, with this camera, no issues there because the ISO looks really, really, really nice all the way up to 12,800 and, in my opinion, even 25,600. So there's snap distance priority mode. And last but not least, I want to talk to you about shortcuts. You might have seen this in my other videos, but it makes the use of this camera even faster when you learn that it has really usable crop modes, which you can program into the ISO button. So once for 35 millimeter and then twice for 50 millimeter crop modes. Because of how high the resolution of this camera is, even your 50 millimeter crop mode still looks really, really, really good. And you can utilize it both in macro and regular. And if you use it in macro, you get a nice background separation in your shots as well. So definitely utilize the crop modes. Beyond that, you can program the white balance button to be your aspect ratio shortcut. And all of a sudden, you have that much creative ability. Lastly, your drive button, you can program that to go straight into fast drive, as opposed to clicking it and then you have to choose between bracketing and fast drive and all those things. No, you can press it to go straight. Let me get out of macro mode here. You can press it once to go straight to drive mode, and that way you can take multiple shots real fast without having to do multiple clicks to get to it. And to turn it off, you press it one more time, we're back to single shots, just like that. And to make those shortcuts, like crop, aspect ratio, and drive mode, these three buttons, you can set them by going to your menu, go to the custom menu, and you go down to function button setting. And here, you see that you can customize your ISO button to crop, your drive button to drive, continuous shooting, your white balance button to aspect ratio, and so on and so forth. You can also customize the movie button as well as the FN button. I recommend customizing the FN button to manual focus. That way, whenever you focus on something and you don't want to do it again, you just tap that button. It saves your focus. And now you're in manual focus, it won't autofocus again. All right. So I hope this has all been very helpful. And thank you for watching one more time. Please like and subscribe. I have all sorts of other content on this channel. Please go check them out. There's music, mostly. All right. Thanks.